Hey, what's going on everybody? So in today's video, we are going to be repairing wheel scratches, and today I'm going to show you how to repair a wheel scratch. So if you've ever curbed your wheel or anything like that, then this video is going to be for you. And so you can see right here, we have this really nasty scratch from just getting curbed and everything like that. And so I'm going to show you the technique that I use to repair this wheel so that it looks like new. All right. Let's get started. All right, everybody, so we have the wheel off the car. We have our scratches right here, and we are going to go ahead and sand it down and get it ready to just kind of blend it in and remove the deep scratches, and then we're gonna just pretty much fine sand it until we get it to where there's no scratches, and then we're gonna polish it. So let's get started. All right, so right here we have a 120 grit sanding wheel, and I am just gonna lightly go over this just to get all of these scratches as low as possible. So let's do that. All right, so when we're using the grinding wheel like this, it's very important to establish a good foundation. And what I mean by that is you want to use very, very light passes and remove as little material as possible because you can't add material back. So if you take out too much material, then you're kind of out of luck. And so by removing as little material as possible, this allows you to keep your work area as even and as level as possible, which will determine a very good outcome at the end. So take your time and really just use light strokes, short strokes like this, just to get to the scratches. And remember, we are not trying to remove the scratch all in one pass. We're just going to make multiple passes, and over time that'll give us a nice even level wheel, so that there are no deep valleys. We're not creating any deep valleys or anything like that in the wheel. And pretty much it's just a patience game. And also some technique you can use. You can use two hands instead of one, and you can rest your guide hand on the tire to give you a little bit of stability. That helps a lot too. And you can see there I'm kind of switching back and forth between angles. The tape helps a lot. And yeah, just take your time. So let's now move on to the next process after we're all done. And that's going to be sanding with sandpaper, and that's going to level everything out even smoother. All right, so let's do that. All right, so now we have everything, all of the deep gouges removed. And so now we can start polishing it down and getting everything blended together and move forward. So now what we're gonna do is bust out the 800 grit and go from there. Maybe even 500. We might start with 500 because we just used a 120 grit, and now we'll go to 500, kind of level everything out and then move up from there. So let's get started. Okay, so we got some 500 here, and we're just gonna wet sand it, everything like that. All right, and then just start working it. All right, this was 500. Now we're gonna, 500 came out pretty good. So I think instead of going to 800, I think I'm probably just gonna go to 1,000. So let's bump it up to 1,000 and really get this thing moving along. But as you can see right there, you don't even see the scratches anymore. It looks pretty polished already. So technically, if we wanted to, we could just finish this with some paint, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna hit it with 1,000 and then get it really nice and shiny. So let's do that. Cool. All right, so here we have our 1,000 grit. You can kind of see it right there. There's our 1,000, just missing a 0. It's not 100 grit. This is not 100 grit. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start polishing or sanding. So with this, now I'm just doing some light strokes, some light passes. I'm not really bearing down deep into the wheel because I want to start building up that polish and that shine. So we're not going to do anything too aggressive. And you can see there, that little moth wants to help. So that's nice. Can use some moth power. All right, so. And at the same time, we're also blending, you know, all of the little imperfections with, you know, that we might have caused with the power tool, the sanding wheel. So now with our hands, we can just feel for like any kind of lumps or bumps and just polish those out. But the secret with using the power tool is to just have a really, really light touch. All right, finishing up the 800. This is 800 grit right here. I'm sorry, this is 1,000 grit. This is our 1,000 grit right here. And you can see, looks really nice. Kind of clean it up there. Yep. And we're getting down to that mirror finish and there's almost no scratches anymore. So at this point, I'm going to take it up to 2,000 and just keep removing those scratches. So like, yep, there we go. All right, so let's get some 2,000 out. All right, so now we got our 2,000 and we're just going to spray down, spray this, and start on the 2,000. And once again, just doing some light passes at this point because I am not trying to put any heavy gouges in or do a lot of material removal. That was what the 120 grit, the 500, and even the 800 was for. So this is just the fine tuning right here, just getting everything to look new again. Okay, so we are now done with our 2,000 right here. This was 2,000 grit. So we're done with 2,000. You can see the wheel is starting to look very nice. Let me see if I can pick this up here for you. You can see right there. Looks good right there. Yep, look at that. That looks very nice and shiny compared to what it was when it was all gouged out. So now we're just gonna go ahead and get some 3,000, go ahead and polish it up, and we're good to go. So let's do that. All right, so here we have our 3,000 right there, and we're just gonna go ahead and polish it up. All right, so right here, I'm just moving a little fast, just kind of going back and forth. All right, let's take a look at that. So we can see right there, that is pretty much down to a mirror finish, and there are no scratches anymore. Maybe you have a little tiny pit right there, but that I'm not worried about, and pretty much good to go. So now we'll hit it with a little bit of polish, but for the most part, we just want to match this paint. All right, so now we're just going to use some metal polish right here, and we're gonna go ahead and polish this. So it's just one more option you have if you wanna polish your wheel. And let's say you have like a chrome wheel or something like that and it's unpainted, but you curbed it. Well, then now you can just take some polish, just take a little bit of polish on a little rag right here, a little paper towel, and we'll just polish it out. So let's go ahead and do that. This is polishing it up like crazy. All right, as you can see now, it just looks like a mirror. This is insane. Look at that. It is like a shiny mirror just from using this polish right there. Check that out. Look at that. Crazy. You can really see your reflection in this wheel. Cool. All right, everybody, so this concludes the wheel restoration for any wheel you have. This is an aluminum wheel, but if you have a cast iron wheel or any type of wheel you have, this is a technique that I use to repair any kind of curbs or scratched wheels and get it back to like new condition. So you can see right there, there's like no scratches. And it's polished down to a mirror. So if you have unpainted chrome wheels, this is one way you can bring it back to a polished look. Or if you have painted wheels, then you can just go ahead and put some paint over it and you'll be just fine. So with all that said, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And I'll see everybody in the next episode where I'll show you how I strip the paint off this wheel and I'm gonna upgrade it. All right, take care. See you next time.